at 5:30, video you'll only see on Local 10 showing the aftermath of a hit and run in Bay Harbor Island.
Police say a driver struck a man riding a scooter and left him lying on the side of the road, and now we're seeing the moment she was pulled over by police. Local 10's Rosh Lowe live with the exclusive Rosh.
The injuries were critical here, life-threatening at the time, according to police. And then a short time later, you're about to see the body-worn camera. You'll see North Miami police pulling over this woman who tells police, "I would have gone back, but I didn't want to do so alone." October 19th, the person has just been hit on his scooter on the Broad Causeway in Bay Harbor Islands. A be on the lookout issued for the driver who took off. The crash where the person was critically injured happened around 10:18 p.m. Here it is. Cops pull over Angela Pico in a Walgreens parking lot, and Pico is emotional. She even says so.
I know I maybe seem a little unhinged, but I'm a very emotional person. It's like, I'm sorry. I just didn't want to go by myself.
Pico remains in her car. Bay Harbor Islands police arrive.
You have a nice little white SUV. However, side view mirrors folded up. The damage is there, so that's why I advised it might be a black Kia. So I was savage. She posing it here. I decided to come up and just make contact with her. She was crying. She stated that she thinks she hit a scooter back there, but she was on the phone with her fiance.
Remember, this was October 19th. According to her arrest report, she confessed to police. November 18th, Monday, she surrenders to police, charged with leaving the scene of a crash with serious bodily injury. Her arrest report reads, "The front right side of the Kia struck the victim from behind, vaulting him violently onto the roadway and raised concrete curb." At the time of the crash, the victim was critical. The judge gives her a $5,000 bond.
It's hard to see people on that bridge at night.
We reached the suspect's attorney, who says she has been in contact with law enforcement since the crash and that, to his knowledge, the victim survived. And this video bringing you right into the moments after the crash where Pico says, "I wanted to go back, just not alone."
I just didn't want to go by myself.
I mean, that's fine. Whatever occurred, you just need to tell the
I want to
officer.
go back, but I don't want to go alone.
So that's what she told police time and time again, that she wanted to go back there where a man was laying on the road critically injured, but she was on the phone with her fiance and didn't want to go back alone. She is now out of jail on that $5,000 bond, facing a very serious charge. We're live tonight on Bay Harbor Islands. I'm Rosh Lowe, Local 10 News.
Anyone with $10,000 or more.
All right, people, what's going on? So you saw what the newscast had to say. We have a woman who was driving her car. She hits a person on a scooter and she flees the scene, leaving that person in critical condition. Rather than immediately calling the ambulance, 911 and whatnot, she calls her boyfriend. And presumably her boyfriend tells her to, call the authorities and make sure the guy is okay. She does that, and the authorities show up, and it goes from there. Now, you see in this video that this woman was arrested, but she wasn't like cuffed. They didn't rip her out of the car, throw her in cuffs, and take her down. Most likely, they just had her come down to the station, give a formal statement. She tells them, what happened, and they say, okay, we have to charge you with, hit and run. This happened, I think the video said, on like October 15th or something like that. And then she didn't have to turn herself in to face charges until November 19th. So that means they let her go. She probably got an OR bond. They let her go and they give her 30 days. She comes back and then she faces charges under a $5,000 bond, which means she only has to pay $500 to get out. And now she's looking at a court date where she's going to be facing some serious charges. Here's the problem. Did you catch what the judge said? The judge said, it's understandable. It's hard to see on that bridge at night. So that lets you know that the judge already has a mind of leniency in conjunction with the fact that the cops and the court has already been very, lenient to this woman. They handled her with kid gloves the whole entire way. Now, in order to really break this video down, I have to mention the previous video I did where there was a woman. She intentionally ran into a man on a motorcycle. She fled the scene. She went to her house. The man and a witness followed her. They caught up to her at her house. She gets out of her car, goes into the house, comes out of the house with the gun, points it at the man, and he draws down on her and takes her life. Apparently, this woman was 5 months pregnant. She has a daughter, and this man did not face any charges. In that video, I spoke about this man who was eventually cleared of any wrongdoing. I spoke about that man and I said, you should never put yourself in the position he put himself in. Like, even though the cops cleared him, even though the courts cleared him, that might not always be the case. And people felt a kind of way about me saying that. Here's the deal. I'm going to show you guys another news clip that proves what it is that I'm saying.
Now on Just One station, ghastly images in the point-blank shooting that claimed the life of a Miami Beach nightclub bouncer. He was just doing his job when he was murdered. The alleged shooter is now facing a judge. 7's Elisa Bezios. Elisa Bezios, you have more.
Lynn, so as you said it, that alleged gunman going in front of a judge, he was given no bond today. Also today, we saw images, we saw the video of what happened here early Sunday morning. Newly released surveillance video capturing the horrific moments of a deadly shooting in South Beach. It happened at nightclub Exchange Miami along Washington Avenue near 15th Street on Sunday around 2:30 in the morning. Police say the man with the gun is Devon Rowe.
The arrest warrants for second-degree murder state, why isn't this an attempted first-degree murder? He got out of a car, walked up to the victim, and have a picture of it.
Rowe in front of a judge Wednesday.
It looks like an execution to me. There's probable cause for second-degree murder. There could also be probable cause for first-degree murder.
According to his arrest affidavit, minutes before he pulled the trigger, killing security guard Marley William Lester Case, the shooter was inside the incident location and was ejected as he was trying to fight with security staff and patrons of the location. Miami Beach officers responded and documented this incident, where they recalled the shooter complaining he was missing personal property inside the location. Police say he left the club but came back with a gun and started to shoot and drove off.
Well, we heard shots and that was it. And all of a sudden, people started running.
Once police got there, they found Marley lying on the floor with what appeared to be several gunshot wounds to his back. Miami Beach Fire Rescue rushing him to Jackson's Ryder Trauma, where he would not survive. Marley's family has set up a GoFundMe page. If you'd like to help with funeral costs, you can head to our website, WSVN.com. For now, we're live on South Beach. Lisa Bezios, 7 News.
Okay, now, you guys saw that news clip. We have a man who went to a club, and after the club, I guess he got kicked out at some point, and somebody, I guess the security had his property or something like that. He comes back, he hops out of the car and draws out a weapon and deletes the security guard. Did you catch what the judge in this particular case said? In this particular case, the DA was charging the man with second-degree deletion. And the judge said, why is this second degree? It should be first degree. There's evidence for first degree. There's probable cause for second degree, but this definitely looks like first degree. All right, people, check this out. So I completely missed it while I was filming these, that it's actually the same judge in both cases. So for the hit and run and for this deletion outside of the nightclub, same judge. This is one of the major reasons why I tell you guys, don't put yourself in front of a judge. When it comes to this, the lady who ran over the person, the judge is being very, very lenient. Is it a feminist thing? I don't know. But what can you do once you're in front of the judge? Right? It doesn't matter if she's a feminist, if she's anti-male, anti-this, anti-that. In the other case, this woman is being, I'm not going to say she's being harsh. She's just really sticking to the law. It looks like a first degree deletion, and she's going to make sure it gets interpreted that way. So if she, like, let's just say she's racist. Okay, it's too bad, so sad. You put yourself in front of the judge. This is one of the reasons that I talk about not putting yourself in front of the judge. The judge is supposed to be fair and impartial, but what happens if they don't? You have to live with the result of whatever they say. So yes, I completely missed that fact that it's the same judge in both cases, but I think that speaks a little bit louder to what it is that I'm saying. All right, enjoy the rest of the video. Right? So the judge right there is showing that they don't have the mind for leniency right away. No matter what happens, this person is going into a situation where the judge already has it set in their mind that this person needs to get the max penalty. Here's why these 2 or even 3 videos matter. I told you guys, you never want to put yourself in a position to be judged by 12. You don't want to put yourself in a position to where your freedom is on the line because of a momentary decision. On one hand, you got 2 hands. On one hand, we have the woman in the first video I showed you. You have this woman who hit a man, left him in critical condition, fled the scene, and the judge, it looks like they're going to be lenient on this person. On the second hand, you have this person who clearly committed a first-degree deletion, and the DA tried to, go easy on this person, and the judge was like, nope, we need to give this person the max. And in between all that, we have a sticky situation with the last video I did where this woman intentionally ran into a man on his motorcycle, and the guy followed her to her house, and she got out of her car, and you can go watch that video. This woman ended up getting deleted, and the man was cleared of his charges. You have 3 different scenarios, and in all scenarios, you have a situation where someone takes some sort of action to where their freedom is going to be interpreted by someone else. Their fate is in someone else's hand because of a stupid decision they made. And the judge does not have to act the way you think they have to act. That's the whole point. Don't put yourself in a position to where the judge has to judge and decide. You don't know how the judge is going to rule. You don't know how the judge is going to feel that day. Take the example of the woman who ran over the guy on the scooter. That judge could have been hellfire and brimstone. But that's not what happened. The judge is like, oh yeah, it's understandable. It's hard to see on that bridge at night. And they let this woman out with a $5,000 bond. They're not screaming at this woman, and they're not going extremely hard on this woman. Now, I don't know what her end result will be, but just judging by that initial tone, she might get a very favorable outcome, right? And she's over there whining and crying and making it all about herself, saying, I would have gone back, but I didn't want to go by myself. So she might find a sympathetic judge. But if that's you, do you think that's going to happen? You don't know that that's going to happen. You don't know that the judge is going to give you an out of saying, oh yeah, it's really hard to see on that bridge at night. We've all been driving and we've seen somebody at night wearing a black hoodie, and then the street is black, and maybe you don't have those blue halogen, LED bulbs so you can see everything, and you almost hit that person. Typically, no one's going to care. They're only going to care that you hit that person. And the judge is going to be like, you should have been driving the speed limit. You were 1 mile an hour over. We're going to destroy you. Right. And even in that case, even if the judge is lenient, maybe that man sues you. Who knows? And that's what I mentioned in that other video. The family of the victim can sue. Right. So think about this woman with the scooter, or the woman who was driving and hit the scooter person. The judge is lenient, but they don't always have to be. But if they are, what happens when the family sues? Right? Take the secondary video. You got this man who walked out of a club, got in a car, got a gun, got out of the car, tracked down the security guard who threw him out and deleted him. The DA, for whatever reason, is saying, okay, we're going to charge you with second-degree deletion. Maybe, I don't know what that's all about, right? But the judge is like, no. We're going to hem you up, right? Things don't always have to work the way you think they're going to work. You would think it would be common sense to charge this person with first degree deletion. But the judge is like, nope, I want to hang this guy high. But at the same time, we've seen these cases where people get deleted and the judge is lenient. We see this all the time. We see abortions of justice. We see where people don't get enough time. We see where people don't get charged harsh enough. We see where people get overcharged. What I'm telling you with that last video about the woman who ran over the guy and she was 5 months pregnant and he ended up deleting her and being cleared of all charges, what I'm telling you with all three of these videos is do not put yourself in the position to be judged. Don't put yourself in the position to be at the mercy of the court, because you don't know how the court is going to react. You don't know how the law is going to be interpreted. You might know the law on the book in terms of the broad stroke, but do you know all the fine minutia of the law? Do you know all the mitigating factors of that law? Do you know all the different ways it can be interpreted? Are you cognizant of every action you took at that point in time, right? And even if you are, okay, the judge is the ultimate authority. If you've never been to court, there is a saying. When you go to court, they tell you every judge has the same middle name, and that is God, because that judge can do whatever they want. That judge can give you next to no penalty, or that judge can give you the absolute harshest penalty. Let's say they give you absolute no penalty. Well, the family of the victims might come around and say, well, we want to sue this person. We want a civil lawsuit. And then you get destroyed in civil court. That's what happened with O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson beat his case, and then I don't know who did his civil thing, but if your case is big enough and it's egregious enough, when you get to civil court, they're going to destroy you. And that civil case took him from 97 to the day he died. That family did not let that go, right? Then you look at these cases. You can have a situation where the judge gives you too much time. Well, in that case, guess what happens? Now you have to appeal. But what happens during that court process and the appeals process? You're racking up court fees. You're racking up lawyer fees. You're late on your rent. Your bills are piling up. You can lose your job if the case gets enough publicity. You can, end up getting kicked out of your apartment, your house, whatever. What about you have kids and you end up going to jail and you have to appeal? How long does that take? Now your kids are either in the system or they're living with family. Now your kids are being affected by this, right? How long does it take for you to get your life back on track after you make a momentary decision out of arrogance and you go out there and destroy your life? Even if you can put it back together, it was still destroyed temporarily. You don't get that time back. That's the whole point. Like the guy in my previous video, he made a decision that had the highest capacity to blow up in his face. That judge did not have to see it that way. That judge could have looked at it and said, nope, this woman did aggrieve you, but you became the aggressor when you followed her to her home. And a lot of people took exception to that. And what I'm telling you guys is, don't think that because one person can, get the law to work for them, that it's going to work for you, especially in a sticky situation like that. Like I said, the lady who hit the scooter person, if you do that, if I were to be driving a car, me, a black man, with a good amount of bass in my voice and a little bit of muscles, when I walk in that courtroom and they say, oh, you hit this person and then you just drove off, and then you get a couple miles down the road and that's when you decide to call for some help, they're going to tear me limb from limb. I'm not probably going to get the same leniency that this girl got. And the judge certainly I'm not going to trust the judge to sit up there and be like, oh, it's okay, man. I understand. It's real dark on that bridge. Here's your $5,000 bond. Just give us $500. We'll see you at your next court appearance. I don't trust that. I trust that I'm going to be sitting in jail for a good long while, and then whatever my punishment is going to include a hefty civil statement, a civil lawsuit. Then you have the guy over here who, deleted this person. It's very clear what he did, but somehow the DA was like trying to let this guy off with, not let him off, but the DA was only trying to hit this guy with second degree, which would allow him to get, I don't know the time range, but I know second degree in most states typically comes with the possibility of parole. First degree typically comes with no possibility of parole. So the DA is trying to like help this guy out somehow. And the judge is like, nope. That's what I'm saying. Don't put yourself in those positions. The second guy was clearly stupid, right? But it was a momentary decision. The other woman, clearly stupid, momentary decision. Now she's getting judged. What I want you guys to understand is it doesn't matter what you think you know about the law. It matters about when you put yourself in the lion's den, you are at the mercy of the lion, right? Don't do that. If you're ever in a situation where you can just walk away and all you have to do is deal with the bitter taste of your pride being wounded, take that. Take that one on the chin and don't put yourself in a position to get deleted. Don't put yourself in a position to be judged by 12 or carried by 6. That's what I want you guys to understand. You don't know how the judge is gonna act. You don't know what the DA is gonna do. And then once your life is destroyed, yeah, maybe you can put it back together. But at what price? At what cost? How much other destruction is going to be going on in your life? So I don't want to beat this into the ground. I just really wanted to clarify the other video I did. Please, people, don't be arrogant. Have a degree of humility. If someone aggrieves you, if someone steps across the line with you, if your health is intact and you can escape, live to fight another day, that whole deal, please do that. Please don't track nobody down thinking that the law is going to be on your side. Please do not put yourself in a position to be judged or, have the law interpreted in your direction. Take the loss and let the cops handle it. Because if it goes sideways, it's going sideways to the highest degree. So take that how you will. If I hurt your feelings with this one, I do apologize, but it just is what it is. This is just how I see the world. It's better to live and fight another day. It's better to eat that humble pie than to, have regrets about not doing that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll get back at you on the next one. Peace.